signature ban for TSM. Every single time they are on A side, they remove the lance.
No surprise that they don't want to see this Arden anymore.
Yeah, by banning out the Arden, they're taking away that composition that Team SoloMid have been running. It does leave that Adagio and the Adagio open because Lance has been taken out as well now.
But it just goes to show how effective FlashX has been in this tournament. We never expected to see Arden bans.
It seems that Velocity has decided for themselves that Arden is kind of the key component they're building some of these comps around, so they want to remove him, see how TSM reacts. TSM does pick up the Adagio, obviously one of Best Chuck's best, if not the best hero for himself. Velocity's thinking a little bit on this. They are hovering the Samuel, which they will lock in, and
wow,
I like that.
And I gotta say, Fuji, your whole tournament is on the line. You're going to go with the newest hero in the game, a hero that's been sometimes great, sometimes really sketchy in this tournament.
That's true, but Zeo did show us that at lane Samuel can be a hard carry for his team. So they picked this up, and they're going to put Aloha on the Finn. Hey!
Jingy the Saw!
I love the Saw pick. I don't think we've seen many Saws, and I think we're looking for the Saw mask right now, aren't we, just to show our happiness.
The Saw does come through, which is an exciting pick because it could be played weapon or crystal.
All right, so it's going to be hard to know which way they're going to go with that. Lyra, of course, is a menace in her own right. It will be Gabe Bizzle going back to that well once again, looking to position himself better than the last game, but now it's all about the Saw. It's all about the turret pushing, and watch that 5-minute mark. That's what it's all about. Can Saw get a turret down before 5 minutes are up? If he does, you know things are going right for TSM. If he doesn't, then you know Velocity can put something together here. All right, Velocity must win or the tournament is over. With the call, it's Humanist in action. Jackson.
Thank you very much, Playoff Beard. Man, what a draft for what could be the final game of the entire Summer Championships. We knew Team SoloMid had something up their sleeves. It may well be this Saw pickup. Ladies and gentlemen, this could be the last game. Make some noise for your teams. All right, so I gotta talk about something here, Humanist. We saw the player cams during that draft. As soon as Lyra was let through with the Adagio, you saw Flash and Vonsi shake their heads and laugh. This is a combination we've heard talked about so often. You can't let it through, right? This is exactly what Velocity decided to do. How much of a mistake is this if it is a mistake?
There's mistakes upon mistakes right now. Flash just moves in, takes that Treant, and actually just Ella-Giggles a little bit more. I've got my Kappas. Flash has got his Ella-Giggles, and right now TSM are in pole position.
All right, well, you can see Velocity starting to make their way up to the lane. They know they need to deal with the early push that could be coming in from the Saw. Aloha taking so much damage. The Dank Shank not going to come through, though. Vonsi backs up just a little bit. Already the pressure out of Team SoloMid's composition coming to fruition, though. It's hard to defend against this.
This is just absolute perfect siege pressure. Now, Vonsi on the Saw, he has a weapon blade to start, but don't be surprised if he transitions into the CP Saw with the Dank Shanks galore.
Even when Gabe Bizzle lands a full forward barrage onto Vonsi, the healing from Chuck and Flash comes across and keeps him alive. What I really want to highlight here, though, and what I really want to know from you, is Vonsi on the Saw. Normally when you see this composition, this kind of a push composition, Saw is in lane. Team SoloMid, they're playing this very differently with Vonsi in the jungle.
Well, I don't think this is necessarily a push composition. I think maybe in the draft you could have that idea, but oftentimes with Team SoloMid, they've taken Vonsi, put him in the jungle with that Saw. They'll go ahead and let him be passive as the game gets into the mid game, but early game he's going to pressure up with that. Just one weapon blade, like I said, he can't apply pressure, and then he builds into those CP items, and his late game will be immense.
Look at how much pressure Team SoloMid are able to apply with just Lyra and Adagio on the turret. And Vonsi, oh, he is going Crystal, Humanist. This is going to be an interesting one.
Oh man, any Saw fans out there are going to be having a great time this game. And it's not the summer party skin, so no dash and splash, but definitely Dank Shanks ready to happen.
Wow, look at the amount of damage from the range that Team SoloMid are able to put down. Zeo immediately has to back away. Aloha regrouping in the lane just to cover him a little bit. The turret could be the next focus here. Gabe Bizzle needs to rotate up. Good Quipple lands onto 2, but the forward barrage just isn't there.
right now, Team SoloMid have got to be so happy about the way this game's going. They have the poke from range, slows, and the ability to follow up on top of that. It's such a hard, just uphill battle for Velocity. I don't know how they're going to be able to get through this early game.
It's going to be really tough. I mean, Zio does have great wave clear a little bit later on, but I feel like he needs maybe at least one good item to hit that point. Oh, one more basic! Just barely coming across. Best Chuck with first blood. Man, this is so hard to defend against.
If anyone takes damage, you have Gift of Fire, or you have the Sigil to drop out of Lyra, and they are instantly healed right back up and in fighting shape. Now, Gabe Vizzle did make the rotation to take away the backs. That's a nice play from him, and he'll have to make these cheeky little plays consistently to get themselves back into this.
Gabe Vizzle actually moving in for maybe a flank here, but with the turret nearly going down and Zio so low, this could be a little bit risky. Can Gabe Vizzle find anything here? Suppressing fire, miles off the mark. Gabe is going to be able to back away, but the turret not long for this world.
No, it won't be, and it's going to be Zio recalling back. He wants to heal up, pick up a couple items, and you look, he picks up 3 potions right off the bat. He knows he has to sustain himself into that lane.
TSM have Best Chuck with 2.5k and Flash with 2 in their pockets, right? They've waited so long, they've been in lane so long that they can go back and pick up a lot of power. If you felt things were hard for Velocity, when they next get back to lane, it's going to be even harder. I do want to talk about what Gabe Vizzle was doing earlier. You mentioned this isn't maybe the traditional Saw push comp, right? But back when that was popular, we saw a lot of unique strategies being used to try and defend against it. I like the proxy farming here, the pressure on the back jungle to stop Vonsi from taking too much.
Yeah, definitely. You think, like, if you can't trade in the fights, you want to just still be continuously accumulating whatever resources across the map that you can. The problem is, though, if you look at Team SoloMid, they're still actually going to scale into the late game incredibly well, so you can't afford to be passive for too long.
Very much so. Vonsi is not near the lane right now, so Gabe Vizzle just rotating up to try and stop Chuck and Flash from maybe taking this turret by themselves. This does buy Vonsi a lot of time. And near the shop, what's he going to go for? Heavy Prism, lots of damage already coming across.
Yeah, it really depends exactly the route he wants to go. Sometimes the Shattered Glass, sometimes the Broken Myth into the Eve. Very common for this type of player.
Aloha taking a good chunk of damage here. Chuck with the basic attacks. He's looking for Dank Shank coming across. Vonsi finds another one. Turret going to be going down as well. Big gold swing for TSM. They're 1,000 in the lead right now. They've got some room to work with Aloha off the map.
Vonsi on this CP Saw, he will be ready to just kill steal anybody on this map. And you saw right there, the moment you get down 20%, 10% health, Vonsi is going to be running at you, and it's only going to get scarier as the game goes on.
Good lord, that turret is dying very quickly. Vonsi is going to back away right at the end here, but back in with the suppressing fire. Zio's got to be careful. Vonsi, once he hits that level 6, and he is just about there, is also going to do so much more damage now that he has that ultimate. Gabe trying to flank. Velocity might want to go for the fight here. Flash is quite low and in a bad position. The death from above zoning him out a little bit, but Vonsi turning it around, going right back in. Zio, he's got here's the red fire. Vonsi sits inside the forward barrage, though. It's going to be the trade. Chuck, he's 2 levels lower than Gabe right now. He is going to have to back away, but Gabe wants this one. Bootsing forwards. Chuck taking a lot of damage. Can Gabe do this? Surrey strike very deep. Chuck, he needs a heal. He doesn't have it. Gabe Vizzle picks up yet another kill for Velocity in a very extended team fight.
Yeah, it's just a great job out of Velocity in this engagement. You have Zio and Aloha just buying time. Gabe Vizzle making the rotation from behind. Executed perfectly.
All right, Team SoloMid, they have taken themselves 1 turret, nearly 2 already, though. You heard the analysts say, if you don't have 1 by 5 minutes, you're in a bad spot. They have that turret, but are they starting to slow down here?
Well, I will disagree with our analyst on that. I think if you're going into this game as a weapon saw, then that's the case. But with the CP saw, you actually scale into the late game incredibly well. And I think this is just a cherry on top, the fact that they're able to take 2 right now.
I also really like pairing double heal with CP Saw because it gives you time to get another rotation of spells off. And really, this is something we haven't seen that much in North America. It's been more of a Europe trend over the course of the Evil 8, but Team SoloMid seem to be making it work so far. That's with the death from above, though. Vonsi needs to be careful. He's got to back away. Look at the damage. Zio finds himself the kill with Gabe Vizzle. Now Velocity in hot pursuit. Chuck, he doesn't have any way out of this. Trying to burst, maybe salvage something out of the fight. Zio, he's actually taking a lot of damage. Where's the rest of Velocity? They left Zio alone. Chuck, he wants Gabe too. The heal coming across, not going to be enough. Flash needs to get out. Does use that portal, but the forward barrage doing some work. Oh no! Gabe! He doesn't follow through because he actually accidentally takes the portal back. Still, 2-for-1 trade. Velocity cannot be too unhappy with that. Vainglory wants something here. The scout trap sees Gabe Vizzle. Flash starting to move in. They could swap onto Aloha if they just want the safer bet. Vainglory has popped the ultimate. Lots of damage coming out from these basic attacks right now. Aloha needs to get away. Does have the boots cooldown though. He should be able to get back to safety.
Yeah, Aloha actually dipping into the shop, picking up his tier 2 boots just in case he needs them. It looked like they were going to let him go, but he activates them anyway, guarantees himself a way out of that one.
All right, Team SoloMid, they are still sitting at about 1,000 gold in the lead, but they haven't taken the second turret yet. Velocity are hanging on. They need to hang on. This could be their last game in the championships. They desperately want their second consecutive title. Team SoloMid, on the other hand, if they win this game, go 9-0 at Summer. Both teams have a lot on the line.
Oh yeah, it's a lot on the line, as you said. You have the pride of being the best in your region. Not only that, to be able to say that you've got 2 seasons in 1 year, it's a really big deal.
It absolutely is. Suppressing fire, doing some good damage onto Gabe. Death from above, not really in the best position there. Zio just making his way back in as well. Look at Gabe's level. We got to talk about this. Level 10 already. He's had so much free reign in the jungle to just farm up. This is really what Velocity need to rely on to win this one.
Yeah, and you see them using that to their advantage every single time when they were winning a fight. It's Gabe Vizzle rotating.
Oblivion and Force to Court both get blocked by the Crucible. Vainglory jumping in, finds some good damage onto Gabe, but here comes the Drifting Dark. Zio wants a little bit more action. You see the Imperial Sigil healing up Vainglory, buying some time for Team SoloMid. They're just going to go back into this one, rinse and repeat.
Yeah, TSM actually in a strong advantage. Flash was able to hold on to his fountain while Aloha was forced to use his. So TSM able to sit in there. They're going to take these backs away and move forward into the jungle, look to take whatever objective they can.
All right, Team SoloMid, they have been slowed down a little bit, but certainly in these fights, it's hard to tell who's going to come out ahead if either team fully commits. Neither team wants to. Both, as I said, want the prestige it would yield if they win this series, if they win this game, especially in the case of Team SoloMid with that 9-0 on the line. It would be such an achievement if they could pull it off. Plus, Flash, if he picks up the win here, is the only 2-time champion in North America.
Oh, you know Flash wants to be able to say that as well. It's going to be a tough battle, but he's definitely in a great position right now. I think Team SoloMid, they want to be able to just poke Siege, get breaking point, the broken mist stacks up, and then go from there. On the other side, Velocity, they really need to get in and burst a target down. You saw when Gabe Vizzle was able to land Death from above onto Vainglory, and everybody focuses them, it will start to fall apart from Team SoloMid. But if they don't burst one down, it's all over.
All right, well, Velocity are coming in from the flank here, looking for the engagement. Flash with a good bright bulwark, shutting that down. Man, things are tense between the two teams.
A lot of tension here. You would expect so. Right now, look at the focus on these players. A lot of communication coming out of Flash, and you know that's one of the strengths coming from Flash. He's such a great shot caller, and just communicating to his team, hey, my item's on cooldown, I'm ready to go, and just perfect calls thus far.
Team SoloMid just seem to be playing very much around the edge of the initiation range of Velocity. This time, though, they might want to go for it. Vainglory is going to juke around on the backline, doesn't find the Dank Shack. Flash taken quite low. Fourth court brings in 2. Vainglory, he's got to be careful here. He goes down, and there's a fountain from Velocity. They can keep this fight going. Flash and Chuck, they need to get out of here. They find themselves the route under the turret, but Velocity with that 1 kill, starting to turn up the heat.
Yeah, definitely. And as I was praising the communication from Flash and Team SoloMid, you got to imagine that there was a bit of mistakes made there. As Flash not even using the fountain, Vainglory just a little too far away from his team.
The flare coming out from Flash, I don't see them realistically trying to steal this gold mine away. It seems like such a bold decision, but Best Chuck's moving up. Zio knows what's up. He's throwing out that Drifting Dark, trying to get in there. No steal from Team SoloMid. Velocity, they're still behind in gold, but just barely.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the reason Velocity have been able to really put up a great fight in these last couple engagements is Zio with that level 7 infusion quite early. He's one of these players that we've actually seen do this before. If he feels like he's behind in the game, he's just going to secure himself a couple more minutes by picking up this early infusion. And Gabe Vizzle was right behind him with that as well.
The risk of these infusion plays, though, is that for a while, it seems like you're on even footing because you're infused. It gives you a lot of stats very efficiently for your gold. But when it runs out, if you haven't actually secured a lot of kills. Suddenly, the team that hasn't been infusing, that's been investing in the longer-term payout of the items, looks way stronger out of nowhere. And SoloMid, they have got a lot of items under their belt. Eve and Broken Myth for Von C, AC and Broken Myth for Best Chuck, where Zio hasn't picked up a second tier 3 and he's only on 81 gold. That's the infusion coming into play.
Oh, it definitely is, and we're going to see the potential in the next minute and a half for Team SoloMid as they find an engagement.
Yeah, Von C trying to go in there, but he doesn't see the opening. Flash needs to back away. Lots of damage out of Gabe Vizzle. Flash, oh, he can't actually get out of there. Von C is just not finding what he needs in these fights. Doesn't get the dash check. Zio taking the portal. Boldly moving forward ahead of the rest of Velocity. Suppressing fire, doing some good work. Chuck might move up here. Von C using that dank shank on the minion. Velocity know that they can't push too far in there.
Yeah, I mean, that wasn't even them being hooked out of position. That was Flash walking forward and just underestimating the ability for Hammer's Velocity to get on top of them. The moment he starts getting lit up, the damage stacks up so quickly. He tries the ultimate to get out of there. No way.
This is such a far cry from Game 2 for Gabe Vizzle. He's got a Breaking Point and a Sorrow Blade now, in addition to an Aegis. He is really the light of hope for Velocity. He's been keeping them in the game, and at this point, I think things can start to turn around. Velocity have been making a great case for it in the last few fights.
Oh, I totally agree with you, and we're going to see Zio probably picking up an Eve very quickly here as he goes back to base. Got that money, he's got the Eve, another 3 potions as well. He just wants to stay out on the map as long as possible.
The potions can really help. That instantaneous heal can sometimes take you out of the range of an execute from a dank shank. It really is worth doing if you have the slot free and not enough money to fill it with something a little bit more slot efficient than a potion. That's going to be the infusion out of Von C. He is level 12, getting full effect out of it. Contraption, actually, from Aloha. Things could start to really explode in these next few engagements.
Yeah, it definitely could. Velocity are looking great right now. We'll see if they can land a Force to Cord or some nice CCs onto Flash.
Flash going so far forward, trying to find that bright bulwark, but look at the damage he's already taken. Portal just barely getting him out of range. Von C on the front line looking for the damage. He finds the dash check, but it's not going to be enough. Chuck can't do anything right now. Flash and him have to retreat. Velocity, to be honest, it doesn't look like Team SoloMid can do anything against them. This is the push onto the turret. Aloha does take a lot of damage, goes down, but he trades his life for the turret. Gold-wise, a pretty efficient swap out there. Best Chuck wants some more, looking for Gabe. Death from above, not going to do too much. Flash doesn't have the portal, though. Can't get Chuck into position to keep the chase moving. Boots forward, though. He wants the bright bulwark, looking for Zio, maybe. That's the Imperial Sigil. Best Chuck, does he have the damage? He's moving into range. He doesn't have a verse available to go for it with a reflex block, too. So Gabe does get the trade. Man, these fights are close, but Velocity eke out a gold lead in that exchange.
My goodness, that was such an aggressive play call out of TSM to move forward on that. It looked like a 50-50 chance it could go either way, and the mechanical abilities coming out of Velocity to come out on top of that one.
All right, War Tread's now picked up for Flash. He knows that if they're going to win fights, it needs to be a snap decision to really just go in, burst the members of Velocity down, and pick up a kill before Zio can sustain through the fight, before Aloha gets multiple rotations off. Speaking of Aloha, he is 1 level away from level 12, where he gets full ranks in the hook. At that point, how does Von C position properly?
Well, honestly, the way you said it is Flash can use those War Treads to move forward. He can just as equally use them to go ahead and move backwards when they find themselves in bad position.
Crowd starting to get amped up a little bit. They know that these next few minutes are going to be critical for both teams. Force to court. It actually lands on the Von C, but immediately he just goes in for the shack. There's a bright bulwark. Zio needs to kite back a little bit. Chuck trying to get in position. Von C finds a good bounce onto the back line, looking for Chuck. That's going to be the burst. The gauntlet is going to come across as well. Zio needs to run out of here. Von C is being healed up by the Sigil. Another dank shack. He finds Zio. Team SoloMid won a fight from them. They pick up 3 kills. 1 point, almost 4K damage out of the dank shack. Team SoloMid, after so long, pick themselves up an ace.
Yeah, look at this fight. We're going to see Aloha move in here. He actually hooks Von C in. Crucible, a touch play, but Von C instantly repositions. And look at Flash, the aggressive move in, gets the Atlas off, buying a lot of time for his team. And Gabe Vizzle will be stunned up right here. And Aloha silenced just for a touch as well. Von C healed up by this Sigil. All of that healing for TSM going to work here.
Von C's play in that fight was also just beautiful, dancing around, bouncing all over the place with those dank shanks. Also, key moment there for me, Quibble landed a split second after one of those ultimate enhanced basic attacks went across. So the Mad Cannon damage went across onto Zio. The follow-up was there as a result. Team SoloMid, they find a Kraken off of this. If anyone can push with the Kraken, if anyone can push with the Saw, it's Team SoloMid. Right now, they are so close to the Summer Championship title.
Oh, I'm sure they can smell victory right now. They want to pick up that trophy, raise it high above their heads, marching down the lane. Aloha with the force, the cord misses.
It does, but he only has a 20-second cooldown on that. Maybe he can make a little bit more plays. Zio taking some poke damage, though. Look at Chuck just playing on the front lines. Very little done to the Kraken during that first turret push. There's only 2 left. Velocity, they need to defend Humanist. This could be it for them. It all comes down to one more fight. Zio, he's trying to find the damage on the Flash. He's looking now for Flash as he jumps onto the back line. Bonzi bouncing across. One turret taken down. Good force accord. Lands on the Chuck. He doesn't get the first off. It's all about Von C. It's all about Flash. Von C, I don't think he can survive this one. It looks like Velocity should just barely be able to defend. Team SoloMid, they don't have their championship title yet.
No, they don't. They're going to be able to take this Kraken down. But my goodness, are they on their last leg or what, Jackson? They have signs of life, but this is such an uphill battle. Down 2 games, only your Vein Crystal remaining. One mistake and this is over. It's going to take perfect execution out of Velocity to stay in this.
They are really on the ropes right now. The tension must be running high. Velocity, a team that came into this tournament tied with 1 point at 6th seed and making it all the way to the finals. They've done so well for themselves thus far, but with the championship from spring under their belt, they want to live up to those expectations of the Hammers fans. Can they do it? Team SoloMid, on the other hand, had a rough spring season, but really bounced back with the acquisition of a few new players. They're trying to prove themselves yet again on the big stage. Kraken won't be up for a little while. Both teams apprehensively moving up towards the middle of the map.
Yeah, definitely. And as you talked about previous performances and these players, we know Von C is no fear, just fight. The all-star Flash X making the play calls. But how about Best Chuck NA? Has this been a breakout season or what? Guys, we knew this man was talented, but every single game and every single series, he has been the dominant force on this team.
Oh, Flash spotting out Zio there. We might see another fight kicking off. Force Accord not going to do too much. Gabe Bizzle has to Surrey strike back. Chuck looking for Zio. Can Zio get the damage down? Von C with the dash check. Picks up a kill with Best Chuck. He kites away from Gabe. Gabe needs to find this kill. He does. He manages to kite back a little bit. He's got a lot of breaking points. That was not going to be enough. Chuck gets the kill. Aloha, last man standing. He can't make the hero play. Team SoloMid are going to be your 2-time, your summer champions.
Aloha, hello, and goodbye right there as Team SoloMid pick up the fight, move in. They're going to close this one out. Happy to do so. My goodness, Von C just taking the time to rest, take a breath right there. Congratulations, Team SoloMid. What a season. What a performance here in the live championships.
Look at the expressions on their face. They just